Okay, everybody, I wanted to make a quick little video here to show you how to get started on the Mr. Circuit Kit. So I have my book open. I'm working with lab number 1, how to work or how a resistor works. I have my voltage. It's only at 5 volts right now. Remember, we have to have a DC voltage, and you don't want this one compressed down because that's going to read the amperage. We want to see the voltage, okay? I have my power supply on so I can see everything. And we're supposed to be using a 9-volt battery in the lab here. We're just going to use the power supply rather than a 9-volt battery. So turn this up to about 9 volts. It might fluctuate a little bit, but try to get it right at about 9 volts. So remember, you want the connector that has the banana lead there, and it has the little wire there, because that's what's going to go in your circuit board. So our power supply, red goes to red, black goes to black. Okay, and then we're going to get everything set up. So it's important to have this set at 9 volts. That way we're not going to burn out any of the components that we have. All right, and then let's go to our circuit board now. Okay, so this is what's called a breadboard, a circuit board or a breadboard. Okay, and you can see the numbers on there. We have it right there. Okay, when we put one of these leads in there, okay, so let's say we're putting this into A1 right there. That is going to charge, well, when I have a complete circuit, this power is going to go to that whole row, okay? Remember, you do not want to put these both in the same row because they could essentially fuse to the circuit board, which you would have to buy me a new circuit board then, which is not going to be a good time. Okay, so let's get the lab over here. That's the way the circuit is supposed to be set up. The resistor that we're looking for is going to be the 100 ohm resistor, which is brown, black, brown, gold. So you can find that resistor. All right, so we have that ready. We have a couple wires that we need. We just need one wire, actually. All right, and then we also need an LED. So remember, when you're working with the LEDs, it's important to note that one end is slightly longer than the other. You can see the bent end here. That one's going to be a little bit longer, so that's our positive lead. Okay, and then we're just going to follow our picture here. So remember, the lighter colored one, where I'm pointing to right here, that's the red. And then the darker colored one is the black. Okay, so we're on row 17. That's where we're working with over here. And then the red one goes into row 15 on the other side. Okay, so just follow exactly what the picture shows us, and then we should have an LED light up. Okay, so let's put these in there last. Let's put the power in there last. Let's make sure we have these things set up before we put the power into it. Okay, so the LED, it tells us that the short lead goes right there. All right, and we're working with rows 17 and 18. So on our breadboard here, let's find row 17 and 18. And it really doesn't matter exactly where they're at, but better safe than sorry. So let's put them in there exactly how it showed us. So row 17 and 18, I have my LED in there. The short lead is in 17, the long lead is in 18. Okay, and then I have a jumper wire. That's what those are called. The black wire is my jumper wire, and that's going to go from 18 down to 25. Okay, so we're going to go from 18 down to 25. And we're the second one in. Okay, so right there. And you got to make sure that these seat in there good, and you want to have your breadboard flat on the table. If you have it up off the table, it might poke through the bottom because the bottom is just a foam. Okay, so just make sure that it's flat on the table. You have those seated in there correctly. All right, and then we stick our resistor in there, and the resistor doesn't really matter which direction it's going. It's just going to resist the flow of electricity no matter which direction it's going. So we have one end in 25, and then we have the other end in 15. So let's stick the other end in 15 right here. Okay, and now we're good to go. We have everything set up, and now let's put our power in there. So the black is going to go on the same lead as that LED. Okay, because that's going to be the end of the circuit here. Sometimes those don't go in there very well, so try to pick it. You might have to pick a different one. Okay, And then, but you want to make sure that they're on the same row there. Make sure that those are all on the same row. And then our end of the circuit has to be on the same as our resistor there. And you can see we got the LED to light up. Okay. So the way this works, if we follow a circuit diagram, I have my positive charge here. Okay. So positive is going to go in here through the resistor, through my jumper wire, into the long lead or the positive end of the LED, and then it would go back to my circuit here, back to my ground to complete the circuit. I guess it wouldn't be grounded, back to the other end of my power supply. Okay, so the circuit's set up. I make sure everything works good. You can leave it on if you want to, but then the next step for each one of the labs after you have this set up is to draw the diagram. Okay, so I have my schematics diagram right here. That's what I'm going to draw. I'm also going to draw the components to the diagram. So I have an LED or light emitting diode, and I have a resistor. You also have a battery, so you could draw that as well. Might not be necessary, but anytime you're using a new component, you want to write the diagram down in your notes. Okay? You want to read through the basic information in each one of the labs. Okay? And maybe you should do that before you set it up. And then in the end here, so double check that you have everything correct. And then if there's any questions here, sometimes there's questions, you want to answer these questions, or you want to write a little section of notes about the diagram. So like what I explained to you, so the power goes into, so I could explain this, power going into my circuit, and then it goes through the resistor, through that 100 ohm resistor, through the jumper wire, LED, and then connects back to the circuit right there. Okay, so this resistor is going to dial down my amperage a little bit so I don't blow out that LED. Okay, and it shouldn't really matter too much if we don't have that resistor in there. I don't think it's going to blow out the LED, and we could check that here if we wanted to. It's just going to receive a little bit more amperage. Okay, so you see right there it didn't make much of a difference. It might be a little bit brighter. But that resistor is just going to dial us down a little bit. And I'll show you that if you understand the way this works, it doesn't really matter what numbers you put them into. So I have to connect from row 20 to row 25 the way I have it set up right now. So I could put this resistor anywhere in row 20 and 25, and then it's going to light up my circuit because I'm essentially connecting my circuit. I'm putting a wire from 20 to 25. Okay, so hopefully this basic information shows you how to set up these simple circuits and information to put in your labs. Okay, so if you have any other questions, you can email me about this. Thank you for watching. Have a great class.